Hey you guys, I got a really awesome build here for you today. This is my sword build that I use when I do play sword, and the build's going to be right after this fight. This fight, it takes me under a minute to kill this phalanx on Twilight Sanctuary here, so I'm just going to kind of showcase how powerful this build is and what it does. And of course, as you can see there, I just activated the Avenging Overdrive, but it's designed to be a really aggressive, high damage output build. He's already dead. I started the part break chain, can't talk, right here. So you can see I'm just kind of moving from part to part. And the cool thing about this is while Avenging Overdrive is active, you're also hitting all the parts behind the parts you're hitting. So you're kind of getting in the early kill there. Alright guys, I got the build here for you. So this build is designed to be a hyper aggressive, not you don't want to back off at all when running this build. And even if you're not that great of a player and you do get hit, there are some ways to kind of counteract that with this build. So I'm gonna dive into that really quick here and give you the lowdown. We have the, of course, legendary weapon on from Urska, and on it we have the Boreas Bond, and the Boreas Bond is gonna do quite a bit of extra damage here. Now you could also probably stick on the Pangar weapon without any huge issue. That's kind of just a preference thing, honestly, so kind of go whatever you feel with there. Either one works. Recursive Hilt is almost a must for this build because it's so hyper aggressive, especially with behemoths that fly away. And in the video I just showed you with Phalanx, you can see that, and the video with the Rift Stalker, you can see that too. So that's coming up after this. If you want to stick around and kind of watch how it plays against a behemoth like Rift Stalker, give that a watch. But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic for getting extra meter gain, and also it replenishes itself, so you can kind of spam the bejesus out of it, and it's extremely helpful for closing the distance on the behemoths and kind of always having that. Now, what I recommend is always try to make sure you have at least 3 meter, unless the behemoth's down and you know you're going to get it right back. I always usually try to, as soon as I hit 6 points of the sword resource, I'll pop a blade rush, or even the other one, I forget what it's called, where you do the light heavy and get a big chunk of damage there. But always try to have at least 3 so that if they get away, you can close the distance really quick. Avenging Overdrive is a must for this build. It's like I said, it's hyper aggressive, and this really lets you just beat the bejesus out of behemoths. So it's pretty evident in the videos, but you'll just have to trust me on that one. Avenging Overdrive is definitely the best way to go for sword right now. I run Discipline. This is kind of a weird thing, but if you don't have your ability up currently, your Avenging Overdrive, it's a fantastic way to still just get a really quick guaranteed boop on the behemoth without having to worry about doing anything else. You could just pop that, and then of course you also gain the benefit from it, which is really nice. So I still recommend running Discipline over any of the other abilities there. I suppose you could, if you're not that comfortable with the weapon yet, you could always run Iceborne, but I really recommend the Discipline on there. Lantern doesn't matter. You could use any lantern you want, pretty much. I'd recommend Pangar as another option. It doesn't do as much damage as the Broadside Lantern, but it does keep away like Styxians and whatnot. So if you're worried about mobs and stuff, like if you want to do this for escalations, that's when you want to run the Pangar Lantern. So of course we got Energized in there, for we need that Energized 6, and I also have the Lightning Plate in here for that. And Assassin's Frenzy is very important because you're going to be, as soon as you get that first part break, you're just going to chain break parts, and when you got Assassin's Frenzy going, you got Overpower going, they're just toast. And that should have been fairly evident in the Phalanx video you just saw, that as soon as that first part is broken, you just destroy the behemoth. There's just no contest. And that's largely, in fact, to the Assassin's Frenzy and Overpower on this build. We got Dark Watch, of course, for Cunning. Now, Cunning in Hunting Grounds isn't super useful. It's still pretty great, but you're going to get the most use out of that in escalations when you have other things that are boosting your critical hit rate. Of course, we got Berserker because we're just playing a hyper-aggressive build, so we're going to be getting that Berserker. I highly recommend spamming light attacks with this build. You're going to finish your combos more frequently, and you're also going to get that Cunning bonus up a lot faster. So just most of the time, unless the behemoth's down on the ground from an interrupt or something, I highly recommend doing the quick attacks there. Of course, we got Turgodor's Brawn for some overpower, and the Thrax's Guile to get the last Cunning and the extra pred in there. Now for abilities, consumables, Life Drain Tonic is kind of like a stopgap measure. So if you know you're about to fight a behemoth that you're not super confident on, totally pop a Life Drain Tonic. It's going to allow you to keep up that extremely aggressive playstyle, and if you get hit, you know you got the Life Drain Tonic going, and you can just continue being hyper aggressive because you know you're going to heal that health right back with the Life Drain Tonic. So it's kind of a crutch or training wheels for this build, but it's still a fantastic ability. So I would pop that on. And Inspiring Pylon is great to drop because this build is designed to interrupt a lot and get those boops in. So totally, if you really want to get some extra damage out, pop that Inspiring Pylon. And of course, the Frenzy Tonic is also it's always nice to drink. And you don't really need the... you could also run Blitz Tonic. Once you get more confident with the build, you can pop out the Life Drain for Blitz. Blitz works great. It's not as overpowered as it could be if you were running Catalyst, but if you wanted to, you could probably drop Assassin's Frenzy and maybe one rank of Overpower, or alternately, you can pop out both Cunnings and then pop in Catalyst so that you can get full benefit from the Frenzy and Blitz Tonics. But that's just some minor things you can adjust to this build to give it a little bit of extra oomph if you want to drink tonics. Everybody knows I typically don't like to drink tonics unless I'm doing trials, but if that's what you want to do, then totally feel free to swap out a couple pieces and change that perk summary a little bit to get Catalyst in there. And with that, I'm gonna pop into the Rift Stalker segment of the video. So if you want to kind of learn a little bit more about this build or just see it in action for, it's only like a minute or a minute and a half, I think. Alright, we got the Rift Stalker here. Now this is a great chance to kind of show off how good this weapon is at interrupting. And you're going to see it right off the bat here. He's going to come out of the portal and just a free interrupt right there. He does that every time, by the way, so if you ever want a good chance to get some early damage on him, that's the time to do it right there. Now Rift Stalker's a little smaller, so he's a little bit harder to part focus, so there's some times where I'm kind of caught on his foot and I can't get around to him to hit the other parts, but here comes another good chance to boop right here. Bop. Nick nailed him right there. Now, if you noticed, I was just about to run out of my Avenging Overdrive meter, and if I would have ran out early, that would have been a good time to get ready to use the Discipline, because, you know, you should never be caught without some way to interrupt on this build. Unfortunately, he heals, which extends the fight a little bit longer, but it's not a huge deal. I think that's the only time I get hit right there, actually, but I'm already right back into Avenging Overdrive, so I can knock him out of the portal again and just finish him off right here. Very, very easy fight. So with that, the video's just about to end, so I will catch you guys later.